Awesome. Well, welcome to another Freedom Builders Mastermind. Today we have Jackie Kravitz doing all the FSBO and expired training. We're going to talk about listing presentation today. We're very, very excited. So I'll just go ahead and give it to you and we can get started.
Okay, so I could talk about FSBOs and expireds for days. Um, so yesterday, I was actually speaking with my clients about this. So I wanna bring this up, right? I understand. I don't know how many of the agents that are listening to us right now, or that will be watching this later, are currently calling for sale by owners and expired listings consistently. I don't know. What I do know from being in real estate for a long time is that most agents don't necessarily like calling expireds and FSBOs. And I can understand why they don't like it, but I want to say a couple of things to hopefully get everyone excited about calling them and why they should. I believe that the job of a salesperson, and in real estate, we are in sales. And the job of a salesperson is to find someone that wants to sell, not necessarily buy. It could be buy or sell, but why would you prospect or lead generate or cold call, whatever agents want to, however they want to refer to? Why would you do that? To look for buyers. If you're going to do it, you might as well look for listings. I don't think there's any argument that listings it's how you control your time, how you control your income, how you control the market. So when you think about prospect finding, selling is your job is to find people who want to sell, not sit around and wait for buyers to come to you or sellers to come to you, because that's, probably sell a handful of homes a year, but it's not going to be a very exciting real estate career. So when we think about the selling process, which is looking for people that wanna sell their house, there are different options of people that we can speak with. And I think the biggest challenge agents have is getting started. I was speaking with some agents yesterday on another call that I did, and this lady was saying to me, when I get ready, I get in front of the phone, and then I feel like paralyzed. I can't pick up, I can't dial, I can't talk to people. And I asked her, I said, well, why is that? She says, well, some of it is fear, but I also feel like, this market is so tough and it's so hard, and listings are hard to get, and people are hard to talk to. So I understand that if you're talking to people that those conversations will be a little easier. If you pick a neighborhood and you start calling around looking for somebody who wants to sell, those calls are easier. And when you're talking about for sale by owners and expireds, the expectation is that they're going to have a lot of objections and they're not going to be very friendly. And these calls are going to be tough to handle. Not all of them, but most of them are. And do they have objections? Yes, they have objections. But it's, there's a different way of looking at it where they're not tough calls. You're just not very skilled yet in handling objections and closing for appointments. That's all there is to it. If as you're working on your skills to improve how you communicate with people, because that's key. I mean, you're talking to people you don't know that are not really interested or excited about talking to agents. So it's not going to be necessarily easy, and you have to learn how to communicate in a way that they hear what you're saying. Communication is not what you say, it's what they hear. So there are two ways to set more listing appointments. when you're prospecting, because that's the goal and that's what we have to do. You can increase the number of people that you talk to, because the more people you talk to, the better chance you have of finding someone. And you can improve the quality of your communication. That's where the skills come in, the scripts come in. And it's not something that happens overnight. It's a gradual daily process of improving your skills. And the reason why FSBOs and expireds are so exciting is because you are talking to people who want to sell their house. You're looking, the purpose of prospecting is to find somebody who wants to sell. Like, why wouldn't you call the people that you know are selling or are interested in selling versus just call a random neighborhood? Not that the random neighborhoods are not good calls. Those can be good calls too. But obviously, you're going to have to talk to a lot more people to find one who wants to sell. When you call for sale by owner, it's 1-to-1. Everyone that you talk to, not only do they want to sell, they're already selling and they don't have an agent yet. Expired listings, 40 to 50%. Within 72 hours, they're back in the multiple listing service. So these are the hottest prospects you can talk to. And you need to have proper expectations of what's going to happen on these calls, because if you're expecting that everyone will say yes, you're going to be disappointed very quickly. There's no one, I don't care how skilled and how good they are, how long they've been doing this, that will set an appointment with every FSBO and expired they talk to. It just doesn't, it's impossible. So hearing the no's and not allowing the no's to affect the next call, it's really the key to this. You have to build resilience. You have to just be able to brush it off. And I always say the most important 4-letter word in prospecting is next. And that's how it is. Any selling job, you're going to go through a lot of no's to find the yeses. And how I like to look at it is, and you might want to write this down, every no gets you closer to a yes. So now the no's is not anything for you to be discouraged by or get, like stop what you're doing. No, you're just one step closer, because it's gonna take a lot of no's to get to the yes. So FSBOs and expireds are amazing. So let's do a little bit of scripting. And I wanna explain to you why my scripts are written the way that they are. My for sale by owner script, you could actually, if you go on salesxtraining behind me.com, you can scroll to the bottom of the homepage and download my FSBO script for free. Just put in your email address, your name, and you'll get it immediately. So my for sale by owner script is very simple. The expired is even simpler. And I want to share with you the reasoning behind the scripts being what they are. It's very important for you to be able to communicate powerfully with FSBOs and expireds and set appointments to understand how they think. I've seen, because I've been coaching for almost 16 years now, and I've coached for some large companies, Mike Ferry, Keller Williams, and I've seen all kinds of scripts, right? And some of these for sale by owner scripts, they're not really written sort of getting in the seller's head and understanding how they're thinking. It's just a bunch of questions that the seller, the FSBO on the other end of this phone call is not interested in answering at all. So think about this. How are they thinking? What's going on in their head? Why would anyone not list with a real estate agent that can handle this entire process for them and choose to sell their house on their own? If you ask them, 99% of them will tell you, I don't want to pay a commission. That it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, if the services of an agent were free to the seller, they would take it. What they're wanting to do is avoid paying the commission. Okay, I understand that. They're thinking, they look at most agents and what they do and like, oh, I could do that. I could do an open house. I could put it on the internet. I could get an attorney to review the paperwork for me. So yeah, I could do this, and I'm going to save a lot of money. Okay. What else is going on in their minds because of, and I said 99%, let me go back to that for a minute. What about the other 1%? I believe 100% of them actually are selling on their own to save the commission. Some of them would say, well, I'm doing it this way because I have time, because I'm not in a hurry, or I've sold FSBO before, or because the market is so hot. They say that, but the truth is it's to save money, because no matter how hot the market is and how much time I have on my hands and how many homes I've sold on my own, if I believe that selling myself would end up costing me money, like I would actually sell for less, and no matter what the commission, I would end up with less than if I hired a great agent. I wouldn't be doing it. So they may say that, but in the end, it's really about the money. So what is their mindset in regards to agents that are calling? Well, they don't want to pay a commission, and agents typically charge a commission. So when you call them, they're immediately not interested. They are just not interested in speaking with a stranger, because they don't know who you are when you call. They are not interested in paying a commission. They don't think they need an agent for anything, because they think they got it all figured out. They don't want an agent. They don't want to list the house. So there's a lot of, I refer to as built-in resistance. When you call them, they're like resisting. No, not interested. No, I don't want to pay commission. No, I sold them. Like, and sometimes they give you like 3 or 4 objections, like right up front. I'm not interested. I sold on my own before. I'm not in a hurry. Blah, blah, blah. All of it. You need to expect that, because when you're expecting it, you could prepare. There's a quote I love that says, luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. Every for sale by owner that you speak with is an opportunity for you to set an appointment, go make a great presentation, show them all of the value in what you do, so they list with you. There's an opportunity. The question is, are you prepared to get lucky and get the appointment? So when you're expecting these objections that I just mentioned, well then, okay, how do I handle these objections? How do I, first, before even how I handle objections, how do I start this conversation with a FSBO? So they're more likely to listen to anything I want to say. And when I was selling real estate, every FSBO script that was available, I used. Yeah, I tried this script, I tried that one, and this one, and that one. And it was very difficult to get past the first few seconds of the call, because if you use a script saying, oh, I'm doing a survey, like if somebody calls you and says they're doing a survey, like, I ain't got no time for that. Okay. Like, they're not interested. If I use another script, asking about, like, so where are you moving to? They're like, I don't need to tell you where I moved to. I have no idea who you are. Like, what's up? What's none of your business. There are other scripts that just want you to go, that you want to set up a preview. You want to go look at the house. I mean, if you want to waste your time looking at houses, I want to meet with them to talk about why listing with me is the best financial decision they can make. And if you don't know how to have that conversation with a FSBO, you need to learn it quickly, because why would they list with you if there wasn't a benefit for them financially. They should not list with you. Why would they? So this is a very important point. If you want to know more about that, because I think it was last month, I did some role playing around this for sale by owner presentation. But if you go to my YouTube channel, Jackie Kravitz, there's a lot of stuff there. There's one, I think it's in the live listing presentations that I role played an entire for sale by owner presentation. So you can watch it there. And there's different videos and stuff that I talk about this. But the point is, when you anticipate the objections because you understand their mindset, you can be better prepared. Now, the opening line by trial and error that works best, that's gonna get you, actually get them to speak, which is what they want to do. They want to tell you how great they're doing. Most of the time is they're doing well, and they want to brag about it. And then you're gonna immediately, as quickly as possible, get into this commission conversation. So my script, you introduce yourself. I'm a local real estate agent. I noticed that you have your house for sale and it looks like you're selling it owner, right? Why did the script that that you could download on my website or that I use, I made it up because I tried all of these other scripts. I'm like, this is not working. This is not good. I can't, it's hard to even like get past the first 30 seconds of the call. This is not working. So what is it that I could say to them in the beginning of the call that's gonna get me to at least be able to have a conversation here? So it looks like you're selling it by owner, right? Or selling it yourself, right? I put that in there because it happened to me. In the early 2000s, it was a very hot market, and I would spend 3 or 4 minutes talking to this FSBO, and then they would say, oh yeah, but my house is already listed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wasted all this time. Like, why am I talking to you if your house is already listed? They don't understand the process. They think like, okay, even though it's listed, okay, you're calling, so I'll talk to you. So I decided to put that in there. You're selling it by owner, right? So if they're listed, they would say, no, I already listed. Oh, okay, great. Good luck. Click next. Because I don't want to waste time talking to somebody that's already listed. So, and then I work with buyers and sellers. When they say, yeah, I'm selling it by owner, I work with buyers and sellers here in the area. And I'm just calling to see how things are working out for you. They love that. They can't wait to tell you, I'm doing great, or I just started and I'm not in a hurry, and whatever. They're going to say whatever. And no matter what they say, you're going to repeat, approve, and validate what they said. Oh, great. So it sounds like you're doing really well, blah, blah, blah. Everything they say, you repeat and approve. And then you ask this beautiful question, which is the only thing they're interested in. They're not interested in telling you where they're moving to, why they're selling, what's going on. No, the only thing they're interested in is right here. I'm just curious, Mr. Seller, is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell it yourself instead of using an agent? That's it. Now you could talk about the only thing, and they're going to say, yeah, well, yeah, of course, yeah, your commission is a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. I completely understand. And Mr. Seller, from your perspective, you're thinking, well, I mean, this is a hot market. If I can sell it for the same price that a real estate agent can sell it for, obviously you will end up saving the commission, which sounds pretty good. I completely understand. And let me ask you, Mr. Seller, if I can show you a way where by working with me, you could net more money out of the sale of this home, even after my commission is paid, than if you were to sell it yourself. Is that something that you might be interested in looking at? It's a logical question. They have a really hard time saying no to. They could say, well, I don't know what you mean by that. How could it be? What's your commission? Or not now. I want to give it some time. They could say different things. But this question, if there was a financial, there's different ways of wording it, right? If there was a benefit to you, if you could net more money, if my commission turned out to be an investment and not an expense, in essence, make you money, not cost you. These are all different ways of saying it. You're going to pick one. You're going to say it. And if they say, no, look, well, what do you mean? How could that be possible? What is your commission? You're going to repeat and approve, Mr. Seller. That's a great question. Obviously, the commission is important because you're thinking the less commission you pay, the more money you keep. And obviously, I understand the whole point of selling on your own is to be able to walk away with the most money possible. So why don't we do this, Mr. Seller? Let me stop by for just 20 minutes and I'll share with you in detail why and how I am confident that working with me is the best financial decision for yourself. You're under no obligation. Let's meet. Let me show you what I do and how it will ultimately make you money. And then at the end of our meeting, you could decide what's best for yourself. Would 3 o'clock work for you today? Before be better. That's it. That's the script. There's nothing else. Now, that's not pre-qualifying, obviously. That's just the script to get you an appointment. Sometimes you might have to go around this conversation 3 or 4 times, 5 times before they say yes. But every time you say, if there was a financial benefit, you're planting a seed of doubt in their mind. When you first call, they're very confident about what they're doing. And when you say, if there was a benefit, financial benefit, they're like, sparks their curiosity. Like, okay, I wonder what they're talking about. And then if it wasn't, my commission was an investment, it would make you money, not an expense. They're like, what is this about? And then you're asking, so it's every time you ask for the appointment, sometimes they say yes the first time, but if they don't, every time you ask using this type of dialogue, it's chipping away at their confidence. Every time they're like, and then you're only asking for 20 minutes. They're like, okay, well, I guess, it'll be worth 20 minutes of my time to hear what this is about. And that's how you set an appointment, not a preview to go waste your time to look at their house, an actual appointment to talk about the benefits of working with you. And again, if you want to know more about that, there's stuff on my YouTube channel that you can watch about the presentation itself. And that's a critical piece. I think a lot of agents are just not willing to put in the time and the work and the dedication to learn, honestly, to learn this. And very few agents, very few have for sale by owners really mastered. And the ones that do make a fortune. Expired listings, when you call an expired listing, there are more agents calling expireds than there are calling FSBOs. And the ones that, even most of the ones that call FSBOs, they're asking for a preview. They don't know how to have a conversation. They don't understand the value of what they do. They're thinking, well, the market is so hot. Yeah, I bet this FSBO can sell on their own. Okay, well then, yeah, you might as well not call them because you're wasting your time. How can you convince somebody of something you don't believe in? If you don't believe in what you do and that there's value to them, then yeah, don't call. But I actually think that's like a sad situation. How can you be a real estate agent and think that somebody will do better on their own than if they hire you? It's like, that's, to me, it's absurd. And committing to mastering and learning the for sale by owner presentation, like I said, it'll make you a fortune because you'll be one of very few agents that actually know how to do this. And all the FSBOs will be yours because everybody else is wasting their time on previews. FSBOs are a gold mine.
Hey, Jackie.
Yes. Oh, girl, you're here.
I'm here. I've been listening listening. We have some new agents that are using your scripts and dialogue that have some success. I don't know, Megan, are you on the call? Yes, you are.
I am. I got one today from a FSBO. I only had an hour to call, and within an hour, I got a FSBO. It's an investor with 9 properties.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. I love hearing. That's
amazing. And then a couple days ago, she made what, 2 appointments, Megan?
3.
On FSBOs? 3. Sorry, 3
Yeah,
appointments. She's brand new. She's brand new. And
I
think
love
that-
your script.
Oh, girl, you make me so happy. It's so good to hear you're getting results. That's what it's about. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what I find is I think what happens as well is a lot of agents, they want the day to happen to them, and this is actually a boring activity. Like if you want to become a high performer, it's boring as hell to get in every day, say the same thing, do the same thing, go on the same appointments and repeat and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And what did our mentors always say, Jackie? Embrace repetitious boredom.
Exactly.
And it's boring, isn't it? It's like so boring, but it's profitable.
Definitely boring, but I'll tell you, when you set an appointment, there's like that adrenaline, like, right?
Yes.
And the more skilled you become and the more you do, it's time on task. There's no way to magically just, Megan seems to be doing it magically. She's
magically doing it. Well, because you know what? She's taking action. Action takers are money makers. So you can sit in training all day long. You can read and read. And to me, training it's creative avoidance. You can train yourself to death, but until you get in there and actually do it, you can come to every training on the face of the earth, but it's the action takers that win. So anyway,
talk to my clients about that all the time. Don't be a professional student. I got lots of them.
Oh, well, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
When I watch enough lessons and when I feel confidence, like you can never watch enough lessons, read enough books. And how are you going to build confidence without doing the activity? Just because you're right. By osmosis, you're going to watch me do it and you think you're going to just like that. No. So, yeah.
Agreed. I didn't want to take you off track, but I wanted to just, I know, and people send me all these
with my FSBO conversations. So you came in at the perfect time. I don't know if you want to, Tina, open it up for questions if anybody has a.
Yeah, I mean, maybe who has tried to call FSBOs? Where are you guys getting stuck? Because I think that if I think back to when I was doing the FSBOs and calling, I think for me where I started to get stuck was I had to get over myself to make the calls. Once you get the appointments, I think a lot of us, we get to the appointment and we start looking around and we never get to the point at the appointment, and we start to fall into I might have a buyer, I'll bring you a buyer if I have one, and nothing gets done. And I used to spin my wheels a lot until I was very direct. And Jackie's very direct. She's a high D. And I had to build that high D to get confident. And I think that a lot of them are not confident that they're the best agent for the job. They don't know how to convince the seller. So maybe if you guys, first of all, you guys should be having your cameras on. It's like coming to a meeting with a bag over your head, right, Nina? Right.
Oh,
turn your cameras
that,
on. We want to see your...
Thank you. With that bag over your head. I'm going to use that.
Right. It's like, unless you're all naked, which I highly doubt, you should have your there they are. Look at all these beautiful faces. Oh, I love it. I don't want to see names. I want to see your beautiful faces. Unless you're driving, you don't have to look at the camera, Genesis. But anyway, I just think that unmute yourselves if you guys have a question. What are you getting stuck with? Obviously, you're all not calling FSBOs. You're here training, learning. Where do you guys get stuck? It's not embarrassing to say I messed up or I'm scared to call, or call reluctance is an issue. It's just like standing on stage and speaking in front of people. It's hard. This is not easy, but it gets easier, right? It gets easier when you get over yourselves and you just start to take the action. One little win, making that first call, one little win is a win. Just because Megan made all these appointments doesn't mean she's going to go nail every listing. Now she might, right? But she's got a lot of confidence, and then I love that. And she's new, but confidence is you have to build it, or you just have it. But what are you guys getting stuck with? I mean, you've got Jackie. She's like the pro of pros when it comes to listing FSBOs. Who has called a FSBO and failed at making an appointment?
Me,
Yeah, I mean, all of us, right? So what gets us stuck? Why don't we do it every single day? What gets us stuck?
Hey Tina, this is Shika.
Hi, Shika.
Hey Jackie, how are you?
hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. We're loving your scripts. We've been practicing, trying to make the calls. One of the things, I'm driving and I'm sorry my camera is off.
As it should be.
But what I wanted to, so one of the questions I wanted to ask is I've lost 2 of my listings recently to the conversation, oh, I found an old relative who's also a realtor. And they were not listing before, but now they went back and saying they are going to be listing. And I went back and asking, you know, I'm sure you would want to hire the right professional and who comes with the right experience and understand what this market needs. But it's just that they signed the agreement, they went ahead, and again, it's 2 of those listings where we went through all preparation and explaining them, but it just didn't pan out. What more could have I done to make this happen?
Let me understand. So they listed with a relative. And
Yes.
you did
That's what they say. They found an old relative.
an
Yes.
old relative, okay?
Yeah, they've never been spoken about it. They were out there looking for a realtor. They were looking to list their property. But now when we had interviewed, given them all the details, we talked about pricing, we talked about everything that we do in terms of a service. Now they found an old relative who will be listing their home.
Okay, so let me understand. When you went on the appointment and when you scheduled the appointment, and I trust you pre-qualified it, they never mentioned there was a relative. Like were they interviewing other agents? Did you ask
I did.
about
So one of them
that?
said that we will be interviewing other agents, and I prepared myself to saying, is there anything that will help make your decision right now? We went in with a listing agreement that they would sign. We left the pen on the table for them just so that they can see it and they could sign it. But they said, no, we have other appointments that we would want to wait.
Okay.
And I asked if commission was a question, if what is that they're looking in their realtor, and none of those concerns came up. And we said, if it just anything that comes up, please have a call with us before we decide to
So
list with
Shika,
another
we're
realtor.
talking about 2 different situations. They both listed with an old relative. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. They're 2 different
So
situations,
let's
both
take
listed with an
them
old relative.
individually here. The one that you were just referring to that was interviewing other agents, and you knew that when you made the appointment, you already knew that.
That's correct.
So I'm gonna say some things, and maybe some of the things that I'm gonna say you already did, because I don't know. I didn't hear your entire conversation with them. But there are several things, questions, and that you can ask when you're pre-qualifying the appointment, so you can be better prepared to handle whatever it is that they're doing when you get there. So when someone tells me that they're interviewing other agents, I would always recommend that you ask, Shika, just out of curiosity, who are the agents that you'll be speaking with? I want to know who my competition is. Every successful business on the planet, they know exactly who their competition is, what they're doing, how they do it, and they know how to present their product or services as better than their competition. Everyone. There's no successful business that doesn't know that. Okay. So you would want to ask, well, but are they going to tell me? Not if you don't ask. So you ask. And my experience is 80% of the time, they would tell me the name. Once in a while, they would not. It's okay. Like, so now I got 80% giving me the name, whereas if I don't ask, I got nothing. And if I don't know who they are, how can I be prepared? I can't. I'm going blind into this appointment. That's a mistake. So when they tell me who the agent is or who the agents are, my second question is, have you already met with those agents, or when are you scheduled to see? Cookie cutter, you should always go first, you should always go last, in my opinion. Okay, questions. I'm next one. Awesome. If they're the other appointments are coming after me, I'm going to continue to ask some questions here to decide if I want to go first or if I want to go last. Most of the time, I would want to go first. If I, based on additional questions that I ask here, if I know that I can take this, you know, it's asking questions, gathering information, is a feeling I get, I'm going first. But once in a while, depending on, especially with expireds, FSBOs not so much, but some expireds, they are determined. You ask questions, it's like, there is no way, no how. I'm going to interview 3 agents. I'm not doing this again. So you got to make a decision, but I prefer first than last. So now that you have that information, I say to my clients, now you're going to do a report card on these agents. What's a report card? I'm going to go in the MLS and I'm going to find out how many homes did they sell in the last 6 months? How many were listings? How many were buyers? What was the list to sales price ratio? What's their average days on market? You could even, like in Florida, you could go on the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. You could see when they were licensed. You could research and see if this is an individual agent or if it's a team. How many, so I already said this, how many of their sales in the last 12 months were listings versus buyers? How many of their listings did they actually sell themselves, double-ended? How many? There's so much information. Now, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to use it in my favor. I'll probably print a 1-page report on these agents, because if I get to the of my presentation and with me, and I'm gonna know exactly how to present the competitions, the other agent stats compared to mine, and show the benefit of critical question on pre-qualifying. So Mr. Seller, in this process of interviewing a few agents, specifically, what are you looking for in the agent that you will hire? That's like one of my favorite questions. And they're going to tell you, well, I want an agent that's going to do this, this, and that. Okay. Great. So at the end of our meeting, Shika, if I can show you how I can give you the this, and that you're looking for in an agent, and you're confident that I can deliver those results, will you be ready to go ahead and hire me today? Or list with me today, however you want to word it. And depending on, you know, sometimes they're vague. Well, I don't know. We'll see when you get here. You got to keep asking questions. Otherwise, you're still going in there and you're going to be blindsided by whatever objections they throw at you because you didn't ask enough questions to be well prepared. Okay. So now, let's say you do all of this correctly and you show up to the appointment and you know who they're interviewing and they never mentioned a relative. You have no idea that this even exists, but you know what they're looking for in an agent. I am going to keep asking questions until they say to me, well, you know, the hypothetical question. If at the end of our meeting, you are confident that hiring me is the best financial decision you can make, will you be ready to go ahead and do it? It's almost impossible for them to say no, because they're not saying, I will list with you. They're saying, if I am convinced that listing with you is the best financial decision I can make, sure, I did. So, you know, they're really not committing to anything because it's hypothetical. But when you hear, you know, sure, I guess if that's the case, I'd consider. Now the burden of showing that is on you. You're in control of that appointment. And in my opinion, the only way that you walk out when you do really, really great pre-qualifying out of a FSBO appointment we're talking about without a signed contract is you were not able to show him the benefit of working with you. So no matter what you did, what you said, they're not seeing a reason to list with you. They're thinking that's the only reason why they wouldn't. Okay.
Right.
And I don't even care if there's a relative. And if they say, well, I have a relative, I would say this shows up like at last minute at the end of the appointment when I asked them to sign the contract. I would say something like this: Shika, I completely understand that you have a relative in real estate and you're thinking, well, I mean, blood is thicker than water. You don't know who I am. And at the same time, and I would imagine your relative is a good agent, because if they weren't, even though they're a relative, you wouldn't just list with them, because obviously this is a huge financial transaction for you. And you want to make sure you do what's best for yourself financially, right? And they're going to say, yeah, that's right. I understand. And Shika, based on everything that I showed you today, I feel when we spoke over the phone, regardless of the fact that you have a relative in real estate, you told me over the phone that if you were convinced that working with me is the best financial decision, you said you would be prepared to get started today. And I understand this old relative, this is something that just came up, but I have to ask you, I must have left something out, or you have some unanswered questions, because if you felt confident that working with me is the best decision, even compared to what your relative could do, you said you would do it. So what questions do you still have that I didn't address? What is it that you're concerned about? I'm gonna dig here. I gotta, this is unusual, but at the same time, I take full responsibility. I don't care who this other agent is. I don't care if it's their mother or their spouse. I take full responsibility for what I'm doing here. I can't just pack up and leave and say, well, it's the close relative, or it's a relative, so I got no chance. No, I still believe that even if it's a relative, if I do a great job here and they see the benefits of working with me, they will. I believe that. And if you don't believe that, well, then all you could do is pack up and leave. But I believe that. So I take responsibility for figuring out what is it that I have not given them or shown them that they're not prepared to get that pen and sign. And right. I don't know exactly the situation of the second one, but I think everything that was said here could be used, since it's the same objection basically.
Right. Thank you, Jackie. That was very helpful. So one of the things I mentioned when I asked the question about what is that's important to you in the realtor that you hire, because I understand you're interviewing other agents. You said somebody who's professional and so on, but when they hired the person, it was the commission that was the final decision, and they went with a flat fee commission or something that they had mentioned after my interview, after I learned that they went with signing the contract with somebody else or the agreement with somebody else. I can't compete with those kind of commission. I'd mentioned if commission is a concern.
You can, not by cutting your commission, by showing the value of paying your commission.
I explained my commission is paid outside of what the list price. You don't have to worry about my commission, because the price of the home that we will get for you will automatically pay my commission. They're not paying me commission because I'm already giving them a price that's competitive enough that I will get you an offer much higher than the list price. Even then, at that point, when a seller is giving me all the answers that, like the objections or the concerns, what's important to them, what more can I do? When you are interviewing other agents, please give us the opportunity to come back with you if something was important to you that we did not address, that we could address for you. Mm-hmm. And it was already too late.
Yeah, well,
hey, Jackie,
yes.
Would you recommend, I know I've done this a little bit, like it's that close where, listen, do you feel that I can sell the home regardless of, I know you want to think about it. I know you want to make the decision, but do you feel that you're confident I can get your home sold? and they say yes. And then really what you want to do is, why don't we do this? Because, you know, what typically happens is we walk away and then you call us back and we have to do the paperwork and all that. Let's go through the paperwork now real quick. So we start to go through the paperwork, and then at the end, we basically say, okay, so why don't we get everything signed? I will take this with me, and you can call me after you're done interviewing the other agents. And if it's a no, I will rip it up. I will send it back to you in the mail. If it's a yes, I can get started because I have buyers lined up ready to buy this property, and I want to get started right away. I'm an active agent, not a passive agent. So instead of us coming back and doing all this, why don't we just get through? Would you do that close on
Yeah,
that?
that would be my last resort, but yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
I've done that and it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Tina, we did that.
You do that? Okay. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes, Chicago, it's like you're just never going to win depending upon how you've set it up and how you've brought it from the beginning of the conversation through to the end of the conversation. If they don't see the value there, they're just never going to see the value. I mean, you know, some people are just tough, right? I mean, you don't get them all 100%. I'm sure Jackie has lost some listings,
Yeah,
right?
totally, absolutely. You just
So,
gotta make sure that you did the very best you can. You know, you're not gonna get all of them, but yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Your scripts and your YouTube channel has been amazing. Thank you, Tina, for introducing us to Jackie. And I can only say great things about Espresso Agent as well, but we are totally in with it as well.
yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, if anybody on the call is not with Jackie's Sales X training, I mean, to me, I was spending $2,000 a month for coaching. Jackie's like 100 something a month. It's like ridiculous. So she has a code for our Freedom Builders. I think it's just Tina Capital, and you guys get that coaching.
Yep.
You know, we have that, but if anybody here doesn't have it, they should. Because you go live Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you can have Jackie every week at your beck and call, which is amazing.
You're gonna have Jackie every day because it's live on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's a new lesson on skills, on mindset, on taking action. So there's almost 450 lessons there now, Tina.
We're trying to get Glenn Sanford to make her like the FSBO queen of EXP. Wouldn't that be fun? So send Glenn some messages about Jackie.
Yes,
So,
let's do it.
that's right.
Yeah,
So what else?
Anybody else? Any other questions?
What else are you guys hung up on when you make your calls? Where are you getting stuck for the ones that are making calls? Because maybe some of you haven't made calls, and maybe by the next time Jackie's on, the first Friday of every month, you'll have committed to making 5 calls a day to FSBOs and just seeing if you can just create that habit. Just create habits of picking up the phone. Even if you fail, you're winning. You don't realize that, but you are. Megan, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I had one this morning that it really threw me off. I was like, hey, my name's Megan, I'm a realtor. I noticed you got this for sale by owner. And she said, yeah, can I call you back? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like I didn't even expect that. Yeah.
Or you could say, I'll call you back. What time is better? Just kind of flip it on them. If this is not a good time, what is a good time? I'll call you back so you don't even have to think about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there another thing you would say?
Not really. It's, a lot of times when they say that, oh, I'll call you back, click, they hang up. Mm-hmm. So what Tina said is perfect. Oh yeah, I can give you a call back. What would be a good time? And if they still say, well, I don't know, I'll call you back. Well, there's nothing you can do now except still call them back later. I would wait a few hours. If they don't call, I'll call again. I don't care if they said, no, don't call, I'll call you. It's like, okay. They probably won't even remember who you are. If the call was that quickly, when you call back, they're getting calls from other agents. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Just call back.
Okay, thanks.
I just say, I'm an agent. I just have a couple really important questions. I just want to call you back. So what's a good time?
That's easy enough.
Mm-hmm. My important questions are, do you want to list with me? I'm just kidding. Would you like to list your home with me at 6%? No, we wouldn't. Wonderful. I'm going to keep calling you every day until you do. That's a script. No, I'm just kidding. What else, guys? What else? What about listing presentation? Who's gone on a listing presentation for a FSBO? Do you guys get hung up at and like doing the actual presentation, or are you doing the soft sell? I have a buyer, let me come see your home. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. I find that for some of the agents that are so averse to learning a script and doing the closes and all the stuff, you could, you know, go out and meet them. It just takes a lot longer, but you could go out and meet them and say, hey, you know, I just want to take a quick video of your home. I want to introduce this home to my database and to my audience, and maybe we can find a buyer together. I could bring you a buyer. I'm not going to lie to you like every other agent that calls and says they have a buyer, because that's what agents call and say. They don't want to be direct like Jackie. They want to call and say, I have a buyer for your home. I want to come look at it, which is a bold-faced lie.
I know. So I don't like that.
I hate that.
It's just a lie. No, I can't even do that. I never use that script. So
Awful. It's awful. And actually there are trainers and coaches that teach that. Just tell me you have a buyer. Well, I don't know if I have a buyer. I haven't seen it yet. No, you don't have a buyer. So tell them that. I don't have a buyer, but I know how to get buyers. This is my job. I'm a marketer that happens to sell real estate. I'm going to be in your, I always say I'm going to be in your area on an appointment. I figured I'd pop over to your house. Does 3 or 4 work? And then they, you know, then you can go in, grab your little camera phone if you're afraid to kind of do it, and just say, hey, this is Megan. I'm here at, you know, this amazing home in Cary. You never say the address because you're trying to actually get buyers from that post, right? Hey, I'm at this amazing home. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Let me take you around, la da da da. You say thank you to the seller. I'm going to post this tonight. Hey, by the way, hey, you know, on Zillow, you know where your number is? It's way at the bottom buried. You know, you probably want to put your number and embed it in the photograph, so that way you can bypass Zillow. I hate how they do that to you sellers, because they actually put 3 agents' names right there, and those agents are taking all your buyer leads. So if you'd like, I can actually take your photo and I can embed your phone number. I can do that for you. Now you're coming from a place of value. So this is for the amiables that don't want to be the drivers. You can give them a value add and help them do that. You've helped them now with Zillow, like it's you against Zillow and you're helping the seller. Then what you want to do is the next day say, oh my God, I posted that post. You know that I got 3 buyers off that post. Unfortunately, your home was too expensive for them or just not what they were looking for. But thank you, Mr. Seller. That was awesome. So what did I do? I'm active. I got to their house. I did a video. I got 3 buyers off it. I'm an active agent. I'm out. I know what to do. Right? So it would help you gain that traction. And then you can say, look, if you do get a buyer, I would love to help you with the paperwork. I would love to be your buyer agent on the other side of the deal. We could work together. Or you might say, you know what, why don't I list your home for 72 hours and whoever sells it first wins. If I sell it, it's 6%. If you sell it, it's free. I'll do the paperwork for 2%. And if another agent brings a buyer, great. So you could just try and, you know, be versatile with your own personality, right?
I understand. As long I never actually used the line of having a buyer, but my first 2 years I used to go. I didn't know what I was doing. Like value of value. That conversation didn't even exist. But I would speak with them. Would it be okay if I can come? You know, I come by, take a look at your home. I didn't say if I have a buyer. And, you know, while I'm there, I could share with you what is it that I do and how I may be able to help you. And that's how I used to go into FSBO appointments. And the very first, like the first FSBOs that I listed, I didn't list it right there and then. It was just, okay, so I meet with them. It's nice. It was a 2-hour listing presentation. I'm losing my mind. It was awful. But, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. At least, you know, they gave me the time, they showed me the house, and then I start following up. This was in a buyer's market, so it's different than now in a seller's market. And you don't have that luxury of following up because they may actually sell, which would not be in their best interest. They sell on their own. They're going to leave money on the table. But I started in a buyer's market, so I'm following up with them twice a week for a month, 2 months, and they're still sitting there. And so they're like, okay, well, you know, you're the only agent that's still calling us, so go ahead and list it. Like literally it was like that, my first few. So, yeah.
I have a question. If that's okay. Tina, you went quickly over saying, you know, give me 72 hours, who can sell it first. And that just was a brand new idea to me. And then you said something about 2%. And I'm sorry, I just need you to repeat that if that's okay. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, so you could just say, let's just list it. You know, I don't need a 6-month contract in this market. I will position your home in an auction-like atmosphere. I'll list it for 72 hours. And if I sell it and another agent brings the buyer, it'll be 6%. If I sell it to my own personal buyer, I can do it for 5%. If you sell it, it's free. Or if you want to hire me to help you facilitate that deal, because obviously it's a contract and there's a lot of legalities, I'll do the paperwork for 2%. So something like that. I mean, you can come up with your own, pricing strategy on it, but they're not going to find a buyer. Maybe they will, but I know that I can find them multiple buyers, and I can curate and craft a really good offer for them based on the amount of action.
So you are doing like a listing agreement for 72 hours, and then if you were to go under contract as the listing agent, you would just extend that at that point?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm sorry, that's incredible idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tina, I have a quick question about that. Does it actually need to get extended? Because technically, if you're under contract, it
doesn't. It doesn't. You can.
Time.
Yeah, you can, but it doesn't. So it's just an idea. I mean, we don't do it all the time, but again, it just depends on the seller. If you can land them and get them for, a 30-day contract, which is ideal, but if it's just a way to get in the door, get there. Once they've said yes to that, you could probably get them to say yes to a normal 30-day contract, and you don't need more than 72 hours in this market to get a home sold if it's a really great house. You need 3 days. And you're taking all the risk, and so you just got to make sure you price it right, because even there are homes that don't sell in this market. The seller is typically FSBOs, right, Jackie? They're way overpriced, a lot of them, even in this market. So you might have to get in there and really do a great pricing strategy. Really, you want to go lower so you can start to maximize it, because buyers are smart and they know, if you're already here and there's no more room and they're used to competing and going 10%, 15%, 20% over asking, which is very common in our market, there's no room there. So the seller will just sit there. And you see that a lot with homes that are on the market for 14 days. That's like 14 months in our world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could even bring some comps with you and like an estimated net sheet for them too, just to have and say, hey, this has different commission percentages built into it already. This is, what I'm estimating your profit to be just based on the comps, and a mile away these houses sold, and, deliver them some numbers too, because that's what they care about if you're facing someone that has pricing issues. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, bringing them proof of, hey, here are the last 10 homes. Here's the list price. Here's how much it went over. Then when they do get an offer, which they'll only probably get one because they haven't really blanketed the entire market, they're going to get a full price offer, maybe not even over. And that will start to play with their mind that, you're making up your commission just by showing them that that's where the market stats are. Everything is over asking. So fun. All right, guys. Well, Jackie, thank you.
My pleasure. It's always fun. Thank you.
I wanted to tell you real quick. I talked to Kurt Shewell yesterday, and he said if you ever want to pick a day of the week that you want to do the role play calls again, he's trying to get more people signed up for SalesX as well. He has about 100 people on those calls. He said just text him, and any days are yours if you want them.
They do it Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. So he said, whatever days you want, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, they're yours. So
okay, thank you. I have his number, so
awesome.
Make it happen sometime. Thanks, Tina. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Go get some FSBOs.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Jackie.
Bye.